Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight and neck head straight in one line, in your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. So while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to understand ourselves, how this practice can help for us to develop our clarity. So it is your own responsibility when you practice. Especially, you should know what you practice. And at the same time, again and again yourself, you have to review it by mentally. And if there is any kind of doubt, or if not clear how to do the technique, or how this going to bring you the ultimate result, so you have to make it very clear. So you have to remember, in this practice, there is no boss. So even the Buddha is not a boss. Even yourself, you can't just be the boss. There is no boss. This is a kind of like an inter-bossing. Each and everything you have to bring the Dharma, Sangha, teachings, and you have to develop the attentive listening, and at the same time you have to bring the practice. So you have to bring this everything to this path. So there are certain utilities when you walk in this spiritual path. So one of the major important thing is keep the calmness in you. So that calmness, physical calmness and mental calmness. You can't do it by practicing meditation. One of the most, the mistake people have, at office they are so busy. While they work, they are so busy. And they do a lot of physical activities and they get tired. And then they come to meditation, they sit for meditation to calm down. That is a very wrong way of understanding the meditation. Because that as your cushion, as your seat, as your posture help for the meditation, remember this and try to understand it. You have to sit for the meditation with the calmness, not to get the calmness. So if you sit with doing that, all the busy things, and sit with that busyness, what will happen? The whole, the time period that you practice meditation, because maybe maximum most of time, ordinary person practice 1 hour. If it is possible for you 1 hour in the morning, in the evening, or kind of like that, it is okay. But it is not practical sometimes. And because then if you start to practice whole day meditation, then when you end the meditation, your husband will leave you, wife will leave you, children will leave you, and maybe, you go bankruptcy. You can't do that unless you go to retreat center. So like that. So then maybe, at least if you can, mostly from the ancient time, there is a method like 24 hours, 24 minutes. 25 minutes, 24 minutes is a kind of like a system that the energy start to settle down. If you stay one session, 24 minutes, 25 minutes, that means that session going to deeply into your system. So then within 48 hours, if you continue, it's going to continue as a practice. Just imagine you practice 5 minutes. Of course, it is good to start, but you have to understand the mechanism, because there is a physical mechanism, there is an energy, there is a mental mechanism in us, that, and at the same time, there is a habitual pattern that we deal with day-to-day life. So 5 minutes, it's starting good, even 1 minute is starting good. But if you can keep at least kind of like a 24 minutes, 25 minutes, it deeply go to your system. And then you continue it within 48 hours. So by the time what happens, then you start to get into the flow. So, and the thing is, so before you practice, before you sit for meditation, calmness should be there. The relax should be with your physical body, and relaxedness should be with your mind. So how you can gain that? So for that, at least 10 minutes, 20 minutes before you practice meditation, get out of all the busy work. And when you are really into the system, when you're physically, mentally clear and healthy, it's take only 1 minute. Like as example, in any physical active, like exercise, if you practice, you can warm up within 1 minute, you can completely cool down within 1 minute, if you are really deeply practice. So then later, by the time, it doesn't matter whatever the busyness that you have, you develop the system, and within 1 minute, your entire body can cool down, calm down. But in the beginning, you can't do it. So then at least 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and get ready for the meditation. And so if you plan to sit for 25 minutes, you can do like this. Before you sit for the meditation, you take a few minutes. It's kind of like you mentally, physically calm down, relax, and you go to 1 minute shorter meditation. And then again, after within another 5 minutes, you go to again another 1 minute meditation. So like that, you take a very small preparation. It's kind of like as example, if I give us simile, like, in a big audience before this stage, this mic test, check one, check one, check one, so check two, so like that. So before you go into that, you check it. So like that, before you sit for meditation, you take a short time period to sit. So that will help you to get into the calmness. So once you have the calmness, another thing is that redirecting, because that our mind everywhere, that is your consciousness, that is your awareness, your focus everywhere. The focus is inside you. The very next tool that you have to redirect that all the attention, awareness to your primary mental object. Again and again, again and again, you have to do it few minutes. And then you see, because the mind naturally go here and there. It's nothing wrong with that. That's the very nature of the mind. Because we used to do it. That's why it happened. Otherwise, the very nature of the mind is itself settling down. But we used to do it from childhood. Everywhere, with everything. We are the one who trained the mind to go here and there. And believing we are multitasking, and we are the one who used to do many things. So now it's that nature. So only thing is we have to understand it is unprofitable for us. And then get back to what is profitable. And only thing is get back to profitable means allow your mind to settle down itself. You don't need to do anything. So when it comes to that, redirecting will help you to settle down your mind. And once you settle down with that, and that is the where that we call the tranquility state, samadhi, that is very necessary, even especially during like this time period, having undisturbed mind. Look at the world every day, what we gain, all the disturbed news, informations. And the most of the information we get, not real. That is the worst thing. Through this media and through this Facebook, Twitter, and through this TikTok, and there are a lot of people create certain news, fake news. And now you are so far away from the truth. And the most of the fake news, what happens, it makes you disturbed. So the very nature of the war is terrorizing the mind. But the thing is now, more than the war, the people terrorize the society through the informations. So once you have the tranquility mind, it is more capable for you to have an undisturbed mind. So when you have undisturbed mind, it will help you to calm down, relax, and comfortable, and not allow you to ignite your greed, hatred, or the delusion. So otherwise, always, if you get disturbed, out of that disturb, what happens? All the greed, hatred, and the delusions start to pop up. And once it pop up, it becomes a kind of like a mental energy. And once it becomes a mental energy, it contributes to the higher source of the mental energy, the universal energy. Just imagine, whole world, everybody, and it start to get disturbed. And all the fear, anxiety, depression go through. And the people start to have the hatred, unhappiness, unbalance within their own mind. What will happen to this material world? Because this material things helpless. It depends on according to our condition of our own inner behavior. So that's why practicing meditation and having undisturbed mind is for all the time, it is very necessary. And so once you have that undisturbed mind, from that point, when we go to Vipassana, there is a very important mental behavior you have to practice with the Dharma. Remember that. That the Vipassana, it doesn't mean only you practice it with the meditation. The Vipassana is a kind of like a science, that mental science, mental mechanism. And in day-to-day life, all the time, your point of view depend on the base, the base of the Vipassana knowledge. So what is that Vipassana knowledge? So when it comes to that, thoroughly, deeply, critically observe and recognize. So then whatever that, the most of time, this is the spiritual mistake we does. When it comes to thoroughly, deeply recognizing, so remember this. So this is a perception that comes to you through your screen. And thoroughly, deeply observing means, so when we come to our perception, that we have to understand the perception doesn't mean this outside object. The perception is what you perceive. So what you perceive means what you experience inside you, not what exists outside. But the most of time, people use many kind of tools and things, objects. And then what happened? They start to project the critical, analytical, the observation towards the outside object. And while they're observing like that, what happened? They forget the inner experiencer. But when it comes to the Vipassana, it's not the outside object. It is the person who perceives the inner experiencer. You have to, rather than pondering to outside object and analyzing that object, if you want to do, it is better you go to the laboratory and then get a lot of machines and X-ray machines and you do it, and then you can get more. The wrong mistake is, listen this very carefully and get it. Because when you do this, you use your thoughts, you use your experience, you use your understanding, you use your common logic, you use the knowledge you accumulated through schooling, and then you maybe use all the philosophied ideas that you gathered, that all related to thoughts. When you depend on thoughts, you neglect the real experiencer. Because the thoughts are part of the mind. So thoughts are like waves of the ocean. When you use the waves, what happened? You forget the ocean, the very nature of the ocean. Just imagine. That very nature of the ocean is totally different than the waves. But if you become very limited to waves, what happened to that all the underneath the whatever exists underneath the water? You don't see. So the same thing, when we observe, when we recognize, what happens? We neglect the observer and we go with the outside object. And because of that, again and again, what happens? We develop our ideas, thoughts. When you develop your thoughts, ideas in you, what happens? You lose the very nature of experience, because the experience and thoughts cannot be together. Cannot be together. When you come to the total, even in day-to-day life, you can look into that. By thinking about something and start to watch something, what will happen? By within very few seconds, you forget that what you watch. And maybe talking and maybe you eat. By the time maybe you remember what you talk, or maybe what you ate, or maybe you lose both. You don't know what you talk and you don't know what you ate. So like that, when we into this thoughts, what happens? We deeply lose our inner awareness. So the vipassana is always, rather than going to thoughts and go with that, you mostly deeply go closer to this inner awareness. And that when it comes to that inner awareness, rather than thinking about it, so whatever you experience, remember, you have to see how you experience it and what you experience in you. So what happened? It's like this, you know. So this cup of water, and while I drink the water, if I bring the attention to the water in the cup, I lose the what I experience inside. So, but if I keep the awareness to inside, naturally what happens? You start to see what you drink. So that is the knowledge that you have to slowly start to apply. And when you apply that way, what happened? The power of reconsideration going to become so strong. So you're not going to jump to something. You're not going to get the idea. You're not going to hold it to thoughts. Because when it comes to reconsideration, the careful thoughts you hold for a long time period, not go with the very short moment of experience. And you involving, interfering, and knowingly for a long time process, you go with careful observation. That's the reconsideration. So that is the vipassana. So in day-to-day life, then, so whatever happened, once it become your mental attitude with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, whatever you perceive, more than the outside object, you start to recognize that how you recognize it, what happening to inside you, that create the change. Maybe it's a little change. That's enough. That is what we need. So once you have that change, little change, then the next ability come to you. So that is called modification. So without reconsideration, if you go to modification, you completely get the mess out of your practice. And then you don't know what's happening, and you don't know what to do, even in day-to-day life. So that it's a natural ability. Even with the Dharma, the same. When you listen to the Dharma very carefully, when you listen to it with the analytical mind, what happened? By listening, you get the power of modification, Dharma. That is what you need. Otherwise, when the Dharma say it is like this, you don't need to believe it like that. You can't do it. You can't do it following any book, following even what the Buddha said exactly. You can't do it like that way. So those are the two major utilities that you have to develop in you when it comes to vipassana. So then just imagine, just mere practice, just close your eyes and just observe inhalation, exhalation. No. When it comes to reconsideration, the careful, long time, period of time, interfering carefully, you analyze it again and again, again and again. So remember what you analyze, not the outside object, what is happening to you. And as a result of that, what happened? You get the modification. So the modification is the change, not the same exactly that what you experience, and not a completely new thing separate from outside. That the outside of the perception help for us to perceive and experience it, but you're not going to just do the same thing. But when you don't have the knowledge of vipassana, what happens? You perceive something and then you more focus to outside and you never see what is happening inside you. And then whatever the inside ignite out of the perception, and you keep doing it again and again, and you follow that. And then what happens? You go the same kind of pattern. You can't get out of it. You can't create a change. Maybe you feel good, and it's kind of like this. Everybody at night, turn off the light and go to sleep. It's kind of like a disappearance. And it's kind of like, giving us a kind of like a little moment of, escape from everything. And then when you wake up early in the morning, and you believe it's kind of like that is the awake, moment in life. But no, you wake up with the same thing. But here in the Dharma, awakened person mean you're not going to be the same anymore again. That means you're the point of view. So that's why you have to be very clear while you practice and even in day-to-day life regarding what you understand about the practice. Because otherwise just we hold it to the words, and maybe we hold it to ideas, maybe we hold it to what other people told, and even we don't know ourselves what it is. And then by the time our time will go away, and we are just get lost with the Dharma, and we don't know, we can't find an exit. So Dharma is not something, especially the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha's teaching is not like something that you should take with you and get lost on the way. No, you use that all to find the exit. It is not for the journey. If the journey happens, it is okay, but it is your main purpose should be to find the exit. You can do it. How you can do it? Find the right mechanism, and then you will see. And more than any other time, and it is easy today. So only thing is ourselves, we have to give little time. And honestly, we have to look into ourselves without holding to any dogmas, believing. We have to have the power or the strength to purify our own mind and get into yourself very good structure. That is what need. Once you have it, don't worry about anything. And the world, we know ourselves during this time period, and maybe you are more older than me. We know This world, the outside world, never going to be a better place. The world always go with the something. There is something. So then maybe, the other people also the same. But it is important for you that you take little time and give some value to yourself. Why? Because when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, before the nirvana, remember this, that if anybody, ask anything regarding that, what you practice, you have to know this foundation. Before the nirvana, before the eightfold path, before all other the teachings, the most important part of the Buddha's teaching that you have to understand, the value of this human mind, the value of this humanity. If you don't understand that, you can't get the best out of this life. So you are a result of it. It's just not a by mistake you get this life. You are a result of this eons by eons, the process that you went through, many experience, through a lot of practice, and that's why you became like this human being. It's not easy. And at the same time, you have to understand other thing is, this human life, just not you. There are a lot of other around you contribute to your life, especially your parents, your grandparents, your brothers, sisters, in many ways. Everybody contribute to your life. You are a product of that all. You are just not isolated. Just a person appeared to this world like a zombie. And you can't do anything like that. You have to understand that. So once you understand this, you become fearless, because you recognize you are a very result of this entire universe. Then why you have to be afraid? Just be free. Then relax yourself. Don't hold just yourself. Even you get sick, or even you have any physical that difficulties, just let it to handle with the body. Keep your awareness separate from that. And then you will see that the body has power to deal with it. See this, after this, all the vaccinations and everything, what the doctors say. You should have a good immune system. That's it. That's the thing. So like that, remember yourself, what the Buddha taught, the value of this human body, the human life that you have. And this entire universe, everywhere that we find the dust. And this is the only place that we have this. And if we as human, if we understand that value, what will happen yourself? You start to appreciate as a human being who you are. That appreciation will help to appreciate other people. And that is where you're not going to harm anybody. You're not going to kill anyone. And that is where you're not going to afraid for anybody. And that is where sometimes, that you can reduce this kind of, that the problem around the world. So then remember yourself, the value of this human mind. And then at the same time, you have to remember, it is just not to have a life, and you have to make it more better. Why? Because we came this journey through accumulating memory. So there are a lot of unnecessary, by mistake, knowingly or unknowingly, there are a lot of things we got. Just forget about the inside the mind. Look at your house. There are a lot of things. Even you go to market, you pay money, you pay your, hard working, money, And you buy a lot of things, and when you come home, you say, you recognize you don't need that. So that is who we are. So then forget, how about the mind? There are a lot of unknown, unnecessary things we accumulated through this journey. So that's why we need a mechanism to purify. So that's what we call cultivation. So the cultivation, you have to use it to more, do things to more, that bring more value to yourself, make it more profitable, and then do things for others. Do actions that things make more profitable for others. So that way you will see, you find the path and make it more clear. So to do that, that is the very purpose of the vipassana. And once you understand that reconsideration and modification, and day by day, you recognizing this deeper in you, and you purify yourself, and that purification bring a better person to you, that to the world. And at the same time, what happened, modification will help you to not to repeat the same action. So then that modification will help you to act according to the necessary cause and conditions, act appropriately, and do things according to necessary situations. And when you understand that, you become more kind of like a formless person. And you don't have an identity. So you don't carry a kind of like a, oh, I am like this person in you. You get out of that. And wherever you go, you're completely free. And you're not bound to any habit. And you're not bound to any reactions. Even though you perceive, you're not bound to your inner experience. Why? Because you deeply see, reconsidering and modifying it. So then itself, there is no such a person as you, that what you believe with your identity, with your form, with your history, with your memory, and then you become empty. So that emptiness is, you can't understand verbally. It's through experience. You have to get that. So I hope this will help for you to little bit to clarify yourself. Just so let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring attention to your body and scan head to toes. And say Supatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. and allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And when it happens, recognize it as it is, do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddhang pujemi dhammang pujemi sanghang pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribundisami idammi punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.